So a little bit of a recap. So you guys started off last session, it's been a few weeks, started off last session, you guys were starting in the Kawatoa camp, where Noob, the chief of the Kawatoa there, kind of gave you the idea that he expects you, upon the next day, to escort him and his troops to the middle of this region to perform a ritual to please or to somehow appease the Mad Mage himself. That's going to somehow come in and save the day. That's a little murky on the details there and how that is. But meanwhile, you decided during this particular time to explore more of level 4, trying to find out the source of the poison that's infested this river that Willow from level 5 has asked you to find the source of. And you kind of had an encounter toward the end of last session that, at least for Draken and George, was a bit of a reunion of sorts, as this large aboleth creature seems to have some sort of recollection or recognition of who George and Draken are, and through a series, of kind of speculation and then also an intelligence roll, you realize the Stone of Golor from Campaign 1. Again, this is all Greek to Brandon, since he wasn't involved in all this, but this has been in the works for a long time. but the Stone of Golor from Campaign 1 that Hallister took from you guys when you first entered the dungeon back on level 1, he apparently has released it into its aboleth form, is what actually the Stone of Golor was, and it is now freely roaming this level. Apparently, it is causing a lot of poison in the waters and such. So as you stand here at the edge of the shore of this putrid river before you deciding what course of action the Guild of Troll Skulls are going to do next, you all hear a splash behind you back across the river. It all catches your attention. And you hear this kind of meek voice say, "George?"
Hey, where is it?
Across the river, back where you had come.
This is where we came from.
Does it sound like Meepo?
You look, and peering across, back from you in the flooded tunnel, across the water is a small kobold figure. And the figure goes, "Draken? Oh, Meepo is so pleased to see you both after so long."
Yes.
He's in this tunnel. You can see the water is coming up to his neck, and he's like clinging to the side of the tunnel here. He's covered in this mucus. It's just like clumped on his shoulders and things as he pushes through the water.
All right, I'm gonna throw him a rope.
Okay, throw your rope. As you're getting your rope out, you see the water start to stir up behind Meepo as he stands there at the edge of the river, just chest deep in sludge. And then noticing this, Meepo kind of turns around in terror as this massive form
Did you just kill Meepo?
of Golor
right when we got him.
rises up out of the water, out of the tunnel behind him. The surge of water pushes outward from the tunnel's mouth towards you, and a huge tentacle reaches out. Let me roll here real quick. And grasps Meepo around the neck, around the torso, around the shoulders, his tentacles, and he just drags him, kicking and screaming beneath the waves. Meepo is now underwater, dragged toward the aboleth, as the aboleth surges forth out of the water across the river here.
I'm running straight over.
So you just again, the sludge on this river, you sink, like running through a swamp. You get 30 feet across the river to here. So
Keep going. I'll dash if I need to.
All right, as you get right up here next to the figure of
Oh, it's a trap.
Golor,
It's a trap.
you hear this loud
Meepo's not actually there.
and Golor and Meepo both vanish before you. In the mists, this illusion fades.
Meepo wasn't there. How could you be so mean?
This echoing laugh across the cave.
That's not cool.
We need to find a place to take a
Not
rest.
cool, man. I'm gonna look around real quick, make sure it's not like something
Sure.
Well, look around, see if there's some kind of clue or indication if any of it was real.
Do an investigation.
18.
You are looking around. You're desperate to find your old friend Amiibo from Campaign 1 that has been missing for all this time, over a year now in game time. And
Who, just so Brandon's aware, George is extremely protective of Nipa.
And I'm really like.
Has been looking for him for like, what, 2 years now? He's been
at
looking
least
for
like
him?
a year and a half, something like that.
I really like.
Yeah.
You sank
Extremely
2 ships to find him.
The most epic thing in Campaign 1 I felt like was that. Trying to rescue Meepo.
Oh.
But yeah, when Meepo's in trouble, George pretty much goes head straight on as fast as possible.
You don't see any evidence that this was actually a thing that actually happened. The water level, you don't see like this surge of water like has caused any kind of moisture or buildup on the rock walls. It looks like the level has not changed that much as the surge would indicate it would have. There's no indication of anything having been here.
Alright. I'll turn and stalk back. Anybody who cares to look can see that George is barely containing his rage.
I'm gonna tell George what me and Brandon have been thinking about the dragon fight Aboleth.
So you're discussing this about the Aboleth, and you hear from the cave in front of you now this loud snapping sound like a pop, this large electrical spark, and a small gust of air being pulled into the darkness rushes past your face, and a footstep can be heard in the tunnel as a figure approaches in the darkness.
Is it Nipa? Nope. I have no idea what it is.
The figure appears human, although their skin is very
Is that Rainier?
The leather armor and cape of the figure appears completely ruined and torn and shredded. Their eyes are a bit sunken and dark. But as you recognize the gaunt figure of Rainier, Never-Ember before you, you can see the damage he has suffered. The side of his head contains a gaping hole where you assume the intellect devour must have erupted from his body at some point. Yet he stands before you, holding out his hands to the sides, palm up. And seeing your faces in this raspy voice, your long-lost ally kind of smirks and says, "Yeah, I agree. I've seen better days." He kind of steps forward again, hands outstretched. Rainier was, for Brandon's sake, Rainier was another NPC ally that came with the group down into Undermountain back in level 1 and succumbed to an intellect devour at some point in level 2. And
I cast Divine Sense.
he is undead. And he is not evil.
You're a zombie. That's awesome.
Undead and not
Is he a
evil.
revenant?
He has become a revenant.
Is he a revenant?
That is so
Freaking
cool.
revenants, man. Who is he oath against is the question.
Not sure who his quarry is. He knows that that's a thing. And he hasn't quite...
Isn't that kind of the point of the revenant, that they come back like almost like a vengeful spirit?
Yeah, it's true.
No.
And he's not positive on who this is. And it seems like it's something with strange with the intellect devour and everything. Kind of somehow he's not really sure who his target of vengeance is, but he knows that he has one.
So,
But he's been wandering. He explains that the last thing he remembers of his normal life was when he stopped at the bathhouse in the Goblin Village
oh, wow, that's a lot.
back on level 2. And he fell asleep in the unusually comfortable stone basin he rented. And then everything went dark and cold. And what seemed like a short time later, he awoke in a dark tunnel, unable to see, because he does not have dark vision. And he heard the cackling and laughter of what sounded like a group of women in the darkness. And then he fumbled along the stone walls and he managed to get out of there. Along the way, he picked up a couple of daggers off of dead adventurers, and he's been looking for you guys ever since.
Awesome.
And just now, a magical door opened in the air in front of him. And within it, he could see the great hall of Branderthal Villa, his home in Waterdeep. And he ran through the portal, but the image faded and he found himself here in yet another dark tunnel. But even so, he's very happy to see you. So Rainier has come in. He's now a revenant.
So now we can resurrect him, though. We have his body now.
Possible.
Oh.
Rainier sees Wendune there, and he kind of does a very
Undead bow.
a very noble bow before his undead form.
With brains, ichor spilling out of the hole in his head.
He kind of like holds his head briefly and kind of bows down to avoid spillage.
Wendune salutes. I know an officer when I see one.
Yeah.
Mm.
He does, whenever in this brief reunion here, you're kind of talking a bit about this target of his vengeance. And he, as you remember from, what's his name, from level 1, I forget now, but he could sense kind of a direction. And Rainier kind of like closes his eyes and he kind of puts his hand to his head and kind of winces a bit. And he goes, I can feel a presence. I can feel a presence above. So higher up in the dungeon, there is something, a target that his revenant form wishes to go toward, but he somehow, through whatever means, has a little bit of control over himself, more than the previous revenant George and Draken encountered earlier in this adventure.
As much as we're happy to see you halfway back,
What if I drag?
maybe we could try to get you all the way back.
He agrees, that would be nice. Haleth was a revenant you encountered back on level 1, and as soon as he finished killing the targets of his vengeance, he turned to dust.
You probably should not get whoever you want.
You start to hear the sounds of crawling and clacking of teeth from this tunnel that Rainier just came from.
Gross.
And if you recall, you guys had exploded a giant fireball in this room and briefly halted whatever movement other creatures may have had through this tunnel, but that movement has been freed up since then. And you're getting a sense that there's a lot of movement happening behind Rainier in this tunnel.
Well, let's hightail it to the Kawatoa thing.
Yeah, let's get back up there.
Because I think everybody needs a little bit of a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rainier does not have water walking cast on him.
We're going to have to go back through the thing.
You hear the clattering of the claws on stone coming closer.
I can just carry Rainier. We'll probably carry him.
Sure.
I mean, he can't weigh that much.
He's
He goes, oh, okay, and he like lifts his arms up. How about you do a strength check for me?
19.
Oh yeah, you like, yeah, he's much lighter than he typically would have been. He's lost all his gear for one thing, and he's undead.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a little bit, whatever life force is kind of drained from him a little. But he smells awful. as you kind of
I need a bath.
put him over your shoulder, army style.
he's dead.
I tell him, like, if you attack me, you're in a world of hurt.
He says, I believe you.
I go. Am I able to press presentation?
If anybody's going to hurt an undead, it's going to be the paladin.
Yeah.
A presentation.
And whatever doubts you may have had as you just saw this illusion of Meepo, and now suddenly Rainier. But Rainier apparently seems to be real. You guys are going to hightail it upriver? Is that what I'm
Sure.
hearing?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
when you go back to the encampment. I think we should stop before we get all the way in there, though. So one tries.
You're also sensing that the water walk is going to run out soon.
Yeah, I'm not saying stop in the middle of the water.
Yeah. So you guys are trudging through the river, going against the flow, but the water walking is holding true, and Rainier's like just kind of like resting on your shoulder. There is this kind of little bit of clearing right here that you're coming up on that Melannor noticed earlier as an octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's about now where your feet start to push further in to the
I run over
river.
to that clearing.
Dragon runs!
Yeah, let's head to the clearing then.
As you make it right to the edge. You're wading through the river as if water walking was never a thing. The water walking is gone now.
Is that a boat?
You find this damp alcove about 7 feet tall, and it's coated in slime, and a damaged rowboat lies at the back with this 1 foot diameter gash in its hull.
Well, that's just big enough to cast bending on. I'm going to ask Melannor if he knows how far we are from the encampment. It's way up there.
Melannor does a survival check.
That's going to be a 14.
14. It's hard to know. He didn't exactly. Did he go all the way up to the camp when he was in octopus form? Forget.
I mean, he saw this alcove, but I'm not sure how far he went up.
But we'll say that he did.
Well, he went up pretty far, though.
He went pretty far, and it's a ways up here. It's not like it's super far.
A few 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet or so, 200 feet, but still, this poisonous river doesn't exactly make it a walk in the park.
How tall is, like, this area?
This alcove is about 7 feet tall. This little cave cavern.
No, above the river.
Of the river itself, the area above the river, it goes up a good.
Yeah.
It's obviously uneven, but the lowest points are maybe 30 feet above the river, and it can extend higher than that. Every now and then, it might jut down further down with these low-hanging stone formations, but mostly 30 feet average height.
I can levitate.
But while we're sitting here talking, I remember they had that weird stone thing in the head of that effigy to Alice.
Right, they were making this statue for their ritual. The head of it is a lantern, and inside the lantern you notice there's a fist-sized object emitting a green glow.
Oh, but they wouldn't let us get to?
They were kind of not wanting you to touch it.
Right. So, I'm thinking I have a couple of items that might help get it.
Okay.
So, I have the Shadow Shawl equipped,
Okay.
which, when I wear the hood up, it obscures my face entirely. It's unrecognizable. And then I can spider climb. So I'm wondering, I'm talking to the group about this quietly. I'm wondering if I could spider climb up and over to the ceiling and slip around and grab it that way. And even if I'm spotted, they wouldn't know it's me.
I didn't spot it. They'll try to kill you.
Yeah, I could take a couple hits.
Okay.
Why don't we send Boulder with you with spider climb as well?
Kawatoa might not be so friendly anymore.
Because he has a terrible stealth skill.
That is true. No, I'd asked for the heart of the champion.
You asked the heart of the champion.
I was like, no, let's not.
Yeah, so we can get that without them knowing. And then they can just take the weird statue thing without that to wherever.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, the heart's response to your question, it was, that way lies death. Probably. That's
yeah.
what the
That's
heart said, specifically.
yeah. That I have a feeling that part specifically shouldn't make it to the heart of the cavern or whatever he said.
Yeah, and by the way, you can always ask the heart another question if you wanted to.
Oh, I thought there was. Oh, it's only the temporary hit points just once per day, huh?
Yeah.
Make sure it's still attuned. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Is stealing this thing a good idea? Do we know what it's called? I forgot.
The magic orb in the lantern's all we know.
Is stealing this thing and keeping it away from the Kawatoa a good idea?
Right,
The
so you
little-
reach into your satchel, you see the heart of the champion pulsing there. And you grab a hold of it, it squishes in your hands, and you're asking your question. And you hear this response push into your mind, and it says, you know in my heart that it's wrong.
At least we should do
Stealing
it
is
anyway.
bad.
It's creepy. We should do it anyway. I don't care about that.
So are we listening to the magic conch shell now? Is that what we're doing?
People who are playing the game.
It says stealing is wrong.
I'm stealing little orb thing.
You can ask it again if you want.
Are you sure, Hart?
Are you sure?
Okay, so it's a wrong thing to do, but will it benefit us in the future?
You asked it.
Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
worse to not
All right,
steal?
you asked this, and it says, "Don't ask me. I'm just a shriveled up old heart."
It's useless. Might as well be asking a fortune cookie.
We could never obey it. We never obey that.
Wendune, roll an insight check for me.
Okay. Straight for a 12. I'm gonna flash of genius that thing. Hold on. I gotta find where that went. Ability check, saving throw, +3 to the roll, so it's 15.
15. You're getting the sense that this thing is a little bit nonsense.
A little bit nonsense.
It's almost like a magic 8-ball. In fact, ask it another question.
Oh,
Is
Lord.
this water safe?
Do you like a random answer generator you're using or something?
It says, sure, why not?
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
It is a random answer generator.
It is a when I need a decision made, I'm going to ask it when I need a random decision.
I give you a response.
You might as well flip a coin at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Ask it, are you crazy?
It is crazy.
I think we know the answer to that. Okay. So you guys are at this temporarily safe, quote unquote, safe place. You have this old broken boat behind you. The water, putrid water, flows south next to you. You have this thought of perhaps infiltrating the Kawatoa camp and going on a heist for this lantern's object, whatever it might be. Is that still a goal, or are you rethinking this?
Me and George are used to that.
I'm thinking nothing venture, nothing gain.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, Melannor can cast Spider Climb on somebody with a better stealth check than me.
You just encountered a long-lost rogue friend who the Kawatoa have no clue who they are.
Yeah, well, I'm not exactly sure I trust him, and that's true. They don't know who he is.
Rainier is like listening to all this, and he's kind of got his hands crossed. And he says, "I'll do whatever you want. I'm happy to see you guys."
I guess let's let Melannor do it, or Rainier do it. He's probably our best bet.
Rainier?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we should let's fix up the boat and get closer, and then he can do the spider climb thing.
I can spend it.
Yeah.
You guys spending on the boat?
Yeah. And I can levitate. I don't need to take up space in the boat.
Wait, before you do that, I'm going to poke the boat with a stick.
Poke it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
What are you doing?
Yeah, the last boat I climbed in was a freaking mimic.
Yes, you were right.
You bring out your 10-foot long pole, pole extending, and poke it, and do a strength check for me.
Oh, seriously?
That's going to be a 12.
You manage to not break the boat as you poke it, and it just kind of rocks over and back. It does not attack.
Good enough. Good enough. All right, Draken, go touch it.
All right, cast mending. All right, so Draken casts over the course of a minute, puts his hands on this large gash in the boat, and it mends right up. Now it is I'm not pictured here, but it is a slimy old boat, and it looks like it can seat. It's a small rowboat. It seats maybe 3.
I'm going to go ahead and.
Oh, this is a logic puzzle. I used to have to do this one all the time in grade school, like every year.
I found the face of good.
All right, you're able to like clean off the moss and stuff. So it's clean old wood.
I can levitate.
So yeah, it seats about 3 people, 3 medium-sized creatures with that.
All right.
Okay, so here's what I think we should do. And y'all can veto this or not.
Oh, by the way, there are no oars.
But hold on.
Sorry.
I can use my pole.
I'm going to cast levitate.
All right. Cast
Okay, dragons casting levitate. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Dragon cast levitate. Melannor, go ahead and cast spider climb on Rainier.
Okay.
And then Wendune gets it.
Okay.
And Boulder can go. So Melannor is there, but he was not actually stuck. Because he could cast spider climb and get him later if he needs to. He can go. Dragon levitating over. When we get, and when Melannor gets off, Dragon will get on the boat. So it still looks like a full boat.
Okay.
Just in case their intelligence is that high.
Just in case they think about it, it's like, why didn't they just put the other one in the boat?
So you guys are shoving off like this. Am I following correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm doing the whole Venice boat and
Yeah, you're.
yeah.
So do a strength check for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going. 11.
11. You're fighting against the current, but you are making progress. You're going upriver. It's a struggle. You're making it. When you find these stalagmites coming up out of the river on the west side here of the river, you see another tunnel here to the east. You're pushing against that river here,
I'm kind of just searching the walls for passages.
and you're coming along, Dragon.
Yeah.
Flying along.
I'm searching the walls for secret passages.
All right, we'll do an investigation check.
Oh. 13.
No secret passages.
Yeah.
All right, you make it to about here around the bend here from the river, from the camp. And
I give Melannor, or give Rainier the shadow shawl.
okay,
Someone win it back later. So
he equips the shadow shawl, and his face goes dark within the hood. And he leaps up onto the wall. Do a quick acrobatics check here, and sure enough, he latches onto the wall. He scrambles up to where he's close to the ceiling of the tunnel, and not anywhere near the river. He is latched on like Spider-Man.
I get the boat.
Draken gets in the boat? Or are you going back for Melannor? I guess the dog's also...
no.
The dog will try to fight against the
Dog's walking. We'll go back for Melannor later.
Okay. So the dog is walking under the river.
Okay, so we're going to continue on underneath Rainier.
Right.
So we can kind of provide a distraction, hopefully give him a little bit better or stealth.
Okay. Well, as you come
Oh my
up
goodness.
to the Kawatoa Village, it looks much the same as you saw before. Most of the Kawatoa you see pictured here are lying down on mats of fungus and mushroom with like some leather stretched across a few of them, sleeping because it is getting toward that sleeping time. A lot of them are sick. You do see a few of these are still awake as guards. And they kind of rush forward and they recognize you from before, so they don't like attack or anything, but they start gibbering at you and
I turn my top languages.
they say, "Oh, you've returned. Are you prepared for our journey for tomorrow?"
Sure. I use my cup.
And you get off the boat, or
Maybe.
Draken gets off the boat
Yeah.
with a very light and delicate step.
I didn't fly.
Very light duck. All right, so we get off the boat. Secure it.
Okay.
We're going to start regaling these guards through Dragon about the tales of everything we've seen with the obelisks and
Dragon.
the rock, the scissor monster guys.
The tools. Okay, yeah. I'm going to have Rainier do a stealth check.
So we're keeping everybody distracted with our awesomeness.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a stealth check.
He gets plus 13 for stealth.
Oh my gosh.
He's a rogue.
Better than my +1.
Yeah.
And now I need Draken. I need you to do a deception check. You're the one who's the mouthpiece of this story.
Well, I have +4.
But
17.
Oh my gosh, your Draken is a liar.
I know I am.
You got 17.
what's bad is my deception check's higher than that.
Okay, and for the Kawatoa,
I'm a freaking paladin.
I'm going to roll perception with disadvantage.
You're a lion paladin.
Ooh, I got a natural 20 for my first perception check, but disadvantage, and he got a 20, non-natural.
Oh my gosh.
But with Rainier's 26, he beats the perception.
Sorry.
And he got stuff.
So Rainier makes his way across the ceiling. He's above everybody. You can kind of, you don't look at him obviously, but you can kind of see out of the corner of your eye. You know what to look for. You're expecting him, and he's going across this way. Now, did you ever tell him what he was looking for?
I was asking, did we on the way up here?
Green wall.
Yeah, we told him it was like in the lantern of the effigy that looks like Alistair.
Yeah.
And like that it was, yeah, we mentioned all this stuff. We're planning everything out.
All right, all right, so Rainier, I'm going to have Rainier, again, I'm letting you guys direct what Rainier's doing, but he's going to, going into AI mode a little bit, and I'll have him do an intelligence check here.
Assassin.
Does he have a grappling hook?
He got a 10. So he kind of realizes he needs to go further in, and at this point, he sees the statue. These guys are all working on it, and you guys don't see anything, so I'm not going to really go into much detail. So, but I will ask you guys, let's just pretend like you're on the boat heading toward this direction. You're setting up a plan, kind of, if you ever watched the show Leverage or the A-Team, it's like, you're like flashing back to the plan while it's happening, So the plan, how do you want Rainier to distract these guys? Because they're going to be in here. Like, oh yeah, you're going to do this when you get in there to distract them from the statue shape and you get close.
I gave him the stink ball and the oiled leather bag. You can toss it into the corner, somewhere away from them. I mean, near them, to lead them away.
For me.
All right, so he throws the stink ball. And if you recall, this room is awful smelling as it is, with this rotting body parts and things that they're putting together this, and they don't really notice the smell.
We could ask to go see the leader.
So Rainier's up here in the ceiling, kind of perched like Batman, and he throws the stink ball across the room, and they all just kind of look up at the sound, and kind of look back down at their work and keep going.
I'm gonna ask one of the people that we're talking to. Can we see Noob?
Persuasion check.
Switch is an awesome +8.
That didn't work.
I'm a
What can I
lion
get in?
dragon. Oh, I got 12.
12. He goes, "What do you need to see Noob for? He's busy putting together the statue."
We need to see him too.
Tell him we need to talk about the obelisk.
Oh, very well. He walks away from you.
We follow him.
Is it dark in here?
Yes, there's no light.
I have a
Okay.
light on all the time.
Well,
No.
he has a dim light coming from his staff, but no light on the
Mhm.
All right, so you follow. Draken kind of gliding across the ground, moving his legs as if he's walking, but it kind of looks like a video game character walking across the ground. He's kind of skipping his legs back and forth.
Look
And a
at
couple of the younger Kawatoa are looking at it, like, whoa. And he goes kind of swish, 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 going through the air. This Kawatoa walks in. Rainier is above again, looking at all this, and hears, and because Rainier has no idea what they're saying. And Noob decides he's going to break off from this group and come and meet. And he comes up, and the other two are still there, working, and this one kind of comes up behind Noob, acting like a guard. Looking away. But these two are still working away.
I'm gonna put up a fuss. Say, what gives you the right to get us involved in Annapolis? Do you know how hard those things are to fight? You're not gonna tell us. I'm gonna start going on to a rant.
You're insane.
So Noob has no idea
That
what
they
you're
can't understand, but Dragon can translate.
I'm gonna
But basically, I'm making a ruckus.
So George is over there going, you know, like this, and Noob looks at him and kind of looks at you, like, what's going on?
I'm saying, my friend here is saying this. I do not want to say this. He is though. Do not be mad at me. I'm gonna say
Fine, what's he saying?
I'm gonna tell him.
All right, what's Rainier wanting to do now? So he's perched on the ceiling, looking at the room. These two Kawatoa are working on the statue, putting on the finishing touches. And he needs to get to the head and grab the lantern or try to get into it one way or the other. All right, he's up on the ceiling and he kind of looks around and he finds like a piece of stone in the side of the cave here and kind of works it out. And then he pokes it across the room. Makes a loud ruckus. Both these Kawatoa, of course, turn with that. And they go
Move in.
and they move to investigate.
Man, this is like that Batman video game.
Move in,
All
baby.
right, what's going on over here?
Move.
Alright.
You got limited time to pick that thing up.
All right, so Rainier's going to
Go.
jump down and do an acrobatics check. Okay. Lands without a sound. All right. He sees the lantern laying there at the head of this statue. Should he take the lantern or try to open it and get into the thing?
Just take the lantern. He doesn't have
Take the lantern. Don't touch it.
All right.
Take the lantern.
and put a cloth
He
over
goes
it.
to grab the lantern and it's, of course, adhered to the statue. It's been like tied in with vines and rope
Cut
and
it.
things and like using like stone shaping and such to kind of like cement it into the statue.
Just take out the ring.
They have stone shaping?
Okay, well, while he's over there struggling
Take
with
the
it,
ring thing.
I meant to say this earlier, but my this thing was not in the right spot. I was gonna have, because I'm pretty sure there's a little inlet up here. I was gonna have Boulder go up there,
Go up there.
yeah, and come down and make all kinds of ruckus down that hallway.
Okay. It's going to take him some time to get there.
But he's been walking over.
He's been walking this whole time. So we'll say he's at least to this point.
We're like, just got there.
And he comes up out of the water and with his programmed instructions. And these two are like, whoa,
Does it sound like that? Or is it more like just bark?
bark. These two run down the tunnel.
It's more like hammer on anvil.
This guy, I'll go ahead and say he doesn't hear this, but okay.
Cut the
I'll say
ring
he actually turns. He actually starts to turn to look.
As he does, I start just yelling more, Atlas.
He looks back at you with his trident drawn like you're attacking, but he's like, whoa. But you got his attention though.
I'm like kicking at the dirt and like just
Noob looks
racing
at you, Jack. and goes, what is wrong with him? What's the problem?
I said
This
that.
isn't about hot chocolate again.
No, I'm translating.
Oh god.
I'm translating the whole time, but I also said that this is not me. This is
I understand.
Like,
it's
those
not
things
you.
have tentacles.
What
They
is
can
he
grab
saying?
you.
I'm saying that now. Start saying what he's saying.
They can just grab things. There's illusions. There's all sorts of stuff. Those things have teeth this big.
Like giant fish.
I start saying
Yeah.
what he's saying.
He's like looking at George. He's looking back at you like, yeah, okay. All right. So Rainier tries to take the lantern off. It doesn't come off.
Get the green thing out of it. Cut the lantern in half.
I'll even let him do a strength check to see if he can pull it off. 16. That's a pretty good strength check for Rainier, but no, not quite. So the lantern itself is
Gonna make him grab it.
metal and glass object with glass panes around it. It has a door. It's like Tinkerbell getting in the Peter Pan lantern. If you're familiar, I can like open up to get to the wick and so on.
Open it up and take
Is-
everything out.
We told him not to touch it, so we
Use
have
a
to put it
cloth.
inside. Yeah. Just put it inside of a
Yeah,
cloth.
use the shawl.
He goes to open the lantern. The lantern door is locked.
It's glass.
He's a rogue. Break the lock.
Sheets with the
Break it. I'm hearing lots of different commands.
you can touch the sheets surrounding
Take
the
it.
lantern and
Take
then
it.
take it.
All right, he's going to pick the lock. 17. He gets his lock picks out. Actually, he doesn't have lock picks. He looks around. He finds the tools that they've been using to make this thing. He grabs one, shoves it into the lock, and starts to pick it. And sure enough, this rusty old lantern opens up pretty easy, and he's able to get into it now.
And not
So
take it.
he looks inside with
Okay.
a green glow in his face. And you say, not touching it. You say, you should always use a cloth when you're grabbing strange magical items.
Yeah.
All right. He pulls like some of his ragged cape and covers the stone or whatever it is and takes it. And then he runs back up the wall. Just as these Kawatoa return.
Did they kill the dog?
Yeah, so they're like, dragon squish.
Do they notice
come
it's
back.
not glowing?
As soon as we see the revenant, we should get really angry and talk about destroying the thing to run in there to cover our antics.
I go ahead and tell Noob, that's about it. We should probably be leaving now.
So Dougal goes, you're saying there's an aboleth. I don't know what that is, but that sounds dangerous.
I go ahead and tell them that Aboleth is a big, giant fish creature that's making on poison.
Well, even so, we must accomplish our mission. We
We must
will have
destroy
our
the damn
fiercest
thing.
warriors with us to help defend against this aboleth, whatever it is.
Okay, then. We will go.
Teeth. Teeth.
And he kind of like he bears his own fangs, so they're like a good 3 inches.
I go ahead and say, teeth is thick.
They all like
Yeah.
we have our tridents, we have our magics. You see this kind of green sparkles appear around his hands as he could cast some sort of magical spell. But he drops his little.
Alright.
Okay, then. We'll be
After
ready.
tonight, we march.
Okay, we'll go back
Okay.
to our camp and come back.
We gotta go pick up our friend.
And
We'll
sleep.
be back
Yes, prepare.
and sleep.
Prepare for battle.
Yes.
And he yells out to the
Right.
Kawatoa, who are all like napping and wake up. Like, prepare for battle. And they all like, oh yeah. They start cheering, and now they're all awake. And we're here to do another stealth check.
Oh, boo.
Dang.
You rolled a 7, but that makes it a non-natural 20. Do a really quick perception check here. 11. So when you're seeing everybody kind of wake up, he starts to skedaddle and goes through the shadows. And he manages to make his way out of camp.
All right. Alright, I'll go since I got paddle.
You kind of turn around angrily and stomp your way back in the boat.
Grumbling about abelisks. I know I'm mispronouncing it. That's the part of the fun.
Okay. I wasn't going to correct you.
I don't think everybody needs to go. Because
Are we
we're
gonna
going to
start?
bring Melannor back.
Okay. You call coming back here to camp?
And we'll set up a tent.
Well, what we're
Yeah, y'all set up camp while we go get Rainier. Melannor. And Rainier.
What's Rainier going
One of them people.
All right, Draken sets up the camper's respite, this magical tent. And for the sake of time, so we'll say that you left, got Melannor, and Rainier jumped in the boat on the way back. And now you come back out with these guys. And these Kawatoa, all humanoids look alike to them. They don't really bat an eye at that Rainier is there, although he looks a little sick. And a couple.
Well, he still has the shadow shawl, right?
Oh yeah, it's true. You're right. Never mind. So he kind
I
of
might need to keep it for now.
everybody. We'll just say everybody's in the tent now. Everybody gets into the tent.
All right.
So Rainier, as he gets into the tent, you know, he's not sweating or anything, but he's like, "Whew, that was close." And he kind of unbundles the ragged cloak around his neck that holds this glowing green gem in his hand.
All
The
right.
gem does not look like typical emerald. It's got this strange. It's not cut in like a really clean gem-looking stone. It's like this raw green gem, and it has like these tendrils of jade-looking, like wrapping around it, and this kind of strange alien look to it.
Identify.
Cast identify. And the information floods into your mind, and you see in your mind this sudden vision of this strange frog-looking creature, this giant bulbous head with warts, and it looks very toad-like, but it's not a frog. It's a huge hulking creature with this hard skin, and you can see embedded in its forehead is this green gem. Actually, it's not actually, as you look at this vision of this frog creature in your mind, the gem is not embedded in his forehead. It just looked like that. It's actually inside his head, this gem, inside this creature's head. And you're visualizing it through the identify spell as looking as if it's embedded in his forehead, but then it like sinks into the middle of his brain. And then the information comes to you. This is a control gem for a green slod.
Does he stick it in a green slot?
The green slod was born with this gem in its brain, but it was extracted. And anybody who holds this gem controls this slod.
It's okay to
That sounds like terrible. Like a terrible way to live.
And this green slod is this greenish, very large, toad-looking creature in your mind as you look at it.
So let's not give that to the.
What do we know about this giant slot?
The green slod. Well, let's do a. If you don't have Arcana, if you want to do just a simple history check, if you have history.
Yes.
both.
I mean,
Nat 20 for 27.
Nice.
nice.
I got a 22, not a natural, but I got 22 in Arcana.
Great. Very good. Let me look up the information for slots for you, because you guys know. Especially Wendune. Wendune knows specifically. The slot-eye, which is plural, are these surprisingly intelligent, toad-looking alien creatures. And they come from another plane of existence. And they look like this.
Oh, wow.
That's not what I was expecting at all.
How big is it?
It's a large creature.
Okay, so about like as bigger than us.
It's a 2x2 grid, say.
Could this thing be the cause of all this slime?
Well, Wendune, with his natural 20, he knows several things about them. He knows that they are shape changers. They can change their shape to appear like other creatures. He knows that they can cast spells, and they have resistance to magic. And he does also know, with that natural 20, I'll say, the way that slot-eye reproduce, have babies, is by implanting a humanoid with eggs, or by infecting them with a disease that causes a rapid transformation within them to create a new slot.
Yeah, is this sickness the same as these guys have?
Well, the way this sickness is, like what you've seen so far from like the dead drow from before, with their skin turning translucent, and with these Kawatoa, some of them also have the same issue. That's not typically the way that Wendune understands this disease to express itself. So he thinks this is something separate. Again, with this natural 20, the information you have is that this controlled gem is implanted in the slot's brain, and it must obey whoever possesses the gem. And it is also immune to being charmed while it is controlled. And the slot would know that you are controlling also.
But you would have to obey?
They would have to obey.
Wendune's going to say, thinking about it, maybe we should keep the stone, but take the effigy down anyway and see what happens. Because we took the magic part away.
Yeah, now it's just a bunch of stuff. Like, Melannor is still exhausted, right?
He is still exhausted, yeah. Okay, I need all of you to do wisdom saving throws.
We're gonna die.
Come on now. That was
9!
mean. I got a 2.
I got a 20.
You're
I'm the wisest of all.
wise, George. You are so wise. You know everything.
Haha, George with a 20. Melannor with a 16. What an imbecile.
So, Wendune, you've been down here a long time. You've been in Skullport for over a year
Mm-hmm.
because you were locked in, essentially, and weren't able to safely leave. And now that you have, you like it out here. It's nice. You're glad to be away from Skullport. Screw that place.
What's happening?
And Draken, Waterdeep, that's a nice town and all, but it feels good to be down here in Undermountain.
Oh no, this isn't going well.
You feel like you can just keep going. Just see how deep this thing goes. Both you and Wendune, like, let's keep going.
Well, I do want to keep going.
In the back of your mind, you're not necessarily verbalizing this. This is just a feeling you have. But yeah, I like it down here in this dungeon.
In the deeps.
Well, I kind of want to
Dark, cold, sunless, foodless, veggieless environment.
Well, it's not necessarily a matter of being sunless. Like even Willowwood, level 5 had a sun, and you liked it down there too. Okay, that's all I needed. All right.
Guessing it's going to come up later.
You're almost hitting 2 weeks down in Undermountain, by the way.
2 weeks? You can
Yeah.
like a year.
Although Wendune, like I said, Wendune's been down here over a year. Most of that time spent in Skullport.
Been down here a long time.
The tent, folds back in on itself into the rod as it runs out of time after 8 hours. Rainier, as a undead construct, a revenant. But just so you all know, in case it comes up, as far as needing to rest, he has to spend 6 hours in like a motionless state, but he's not really sleeping. He's still awake, but he kind of powers down, so to speak, for about 6 hours during a long rest, and then he can react. But he can react to interrupt the long rest if he happens to see anybody. So he's a really good watchdog, so to speak.
If you trust them.
If you trust him, sure. After you've woken up and you've taken your long rest, now just to also, I know it's been a long time too, just to kind of bring it back up a bit. George mentioned having Wendune craft a broadsword out of that hook claw.
Yeah, I'm into.
Oh yeah.
I was going to talk about that.
Okay.
Ask about that and a couple other things.
Now, it's obviously something that kind of takes time to do. It's not something you just do overnight.
Yeah, it'll take a few more.
I forgot about that.
So if it's something you want to work on,
Yeah.
you can either take a level of exhaustion and work through the night, or if you remember, the alchemist has a potion that lets you work through the night and still count as a long rest if you wanted to get more of those.
Yeah, I need to get more of those. Because I can't take a level of exhaustion. I was going to do 2 hours and do the other 6 with the long rest.
Okay. So for those 2 hours then, as you're kind of looking at the hook or claw that you have and kind of thinking about how you can use it, how about you do We'll say this is a intelligence check.
Intelligence check. 22.
Nice. So yeah, you got a good idea of what you do. As far as crafting this item is going to be, it's going to take some time, some kind of work weeks. Usually, most of the time when you do in a game like this, you would have downtime. Oh yeah, I'm going to make this item, and it takes you, 2 weeks to work on it, and it costs you so much gold and such. But we're kind of down in the dungeon, so it kind of makes it hard.
Yeah.
You are
So
an artificer, though.
Yeah, with the Artificer, one of their things is it's supposed to take a quarter of the time.
Right.
That it normally would. But
Right.
like you said, we're in the dungeon.
Yeah. So I think I already have a homebrew item made for this thing. Whenever you do make it, but typically it would take 10 work weeks, but you'll take it down to a quarter of that, right? So we'll say, what would that be, like two? We'll say
2.5.
Yeah, we'll say two work weeks, typical, and costs approximately 2,000 gold or so worth of materials and such. So you have to build that into your time somehow.
All right, I got to put that into my notes so I'll remember.
So 2 work weeks, and I'll say that this first night of kind of planning, we'll count that as our first day. There you go.
All right.
We probably need to, 2 weeks is a long time to be down in the dungeon. Probably need to start thinking about like heading back up for a bit of a respite.
No.
Wendune and Draken think that's a terrible idea.
I think we should anyway. Can I roll insight and see if they're acting kind of weird?
Sure.
The 19?
You notice that whenever you bring up going back to the surface, Renier's all for it.
Really? He's
Melannor is way all for it.
crazy.
He's like, yes, please. But Draken's like,
No, thank you.
there's no rush. And Wendune also, who has been down here for a long time, kind of trapped. And he's also kind of going like, we don't really need to do that anytime soon. No hurry. We got stuff to do.
I know.
Well, majority rules, so let's start thinking about going back up.
Sure.
All right, so as
Yeah,
you're...
maybe we can go back up 1 level.
Yeah. Let's start with 1 level and see what goes. At least go back and get the rowboat.
As you're discussing this and having this conversation and eating your rations or whatever, you notice all the other Kawatoa are kind of have risen from their slumber, have eaten whatever nasty, gross stuff they have, or the mushrooms
Rotten
they have
fish.
stored around,
Yeah.
kind of diseased fish, and they're mobilizing to leave.
Yeah, so let's finish this part at least and then think about going on.
Noogaloop comes out from his back chamber and he says, "Oh God, watch out!" And all the other ones go,
I turn on my thing.
you tap your helmet and essentially saying, "The time has come. The ritual must be complete,
Wait, retro that song.
and we will all be saved.
Retro like.
The Mad Master will come as soon as we are complete, thanks to the help he has provided me." And he waves his hand toward you. Noogaloop kind of goes back, and
All right.
they're starting to pull the statue on that skiff they had made toward the river.
But this green thing's gone.
That's a good point. Yeah, he knows it's gone. He sees it's gone, but the show must go on. He's not really making any big point about it, but we've got to do this. You're getting the sense that this has to be done regardless. This thing is gone from the lantern, but we got to do it anyway. They all, you see,
Was this slow thing monstrosity or something, or is the frog
the
thing?
slot?
What type of creature is it? Yeah.
See,
Would Wendune know that with his natural 20?
yeah, he would know. It's an aberration. So slowly, you see about 6 or 7 Kawatoa on 3 or 4 on each side of this skiff, lugging it, pulling it toward the river, with Noogaloop
I'll go help.
Okay.
Me too.
Sounds like they're struggling. I'll help them move it.
Yeah, they're all very sickly. So do a quick strength check for me, don't you?
14.
Draken, you don't really help that much, but George, as soon as you grab a hold and pull, it's like lurches forward. they're all like give a good cheer, like, and you manage to get into the river. And it rocks into the river. It kind of is really heavy. Again, it's made of all these different creature body parts and stone and this lantern hanging open for a head.
So how are these guys going to get all of the boat?
As they push it into the
Or
water,
are they just...
several of them jump on top of it, and they have these long tridents, and they start to do like you were doing, and start steering the boat down the river.
Again, I love it.
You guys levitate again?
Alright. Only 3 of us can fit in this boat, though.
I'll cast Spider Climb on Wendune, which is essentially he has like those ninja claws on his feet and hands.
Boulder walks into the river.
Yeah. Has no fear.
Alright.
Alright, so Wendune, you climb up the walls, so you're crawling up on the river, down the river with the wall. Right here. Is that about right? Shove off. So there's like a procession, and you see all the other Kawatoa are staying mostly at the camp. They kind of are like chanting, ooh, gong, 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 ooh, gong.
Noob one-to-one.
I'm so glad I don't have to go.
Noob is on the boat with the statue. So Noob and 4 other Kawatoa are on this raft, and they are also proceeding with you as you start to spider climb your way down. All right. So as we move, to avoid me having to move all these tokens all over the place, I'm just gonna drag my camera down, and you're heading toward this opening right here.
I'm gonna go ahead and say for it to yell, cry out in happiness.
So you grab a hold of this gem, and you say to who? To Noob? You talk to Noob and say, cry in happiness, like cry happy tears.
Cry out in happiness.
And Noob goes, I am quite happy that we are achieving our goals finally after all this time.
Me too. It didn't work. Okay.
And you're like, okay. And you put the stone back in your bag, and like as you fly past.
Maybe that was him crying out in happiness.
Yeah. He's a very stoic Kawatoa.
Yeah.
Noob and the Kawatoa who are with them start to steer the boat down this tunnel. And emerging from the water in front of you,
Do it.
just coming up out of the waves, you approach again. And Noob goes, whoa, with this staff. The raft with the effigy just kind of glides, and they all like, stop, like pushing against the water and the walls of the cave, and they stop right there in front of it, and it kind of looms over them, this huge creature, and he goes, yes, come. And it sinks back down into the water and fades away. It seemed to be disappearing as it fades away into the water, so it seems to be an illusion. And Noob kind of looks around,
Just an illusion.
and I'm going to go ahead and say, let me actually roll something here.
I'm going to say, told you so.
Yeah. So of the 4 Kawatoa warriors who have come with Noob, 1 jumps off the boat and starts swimming back. The other 3 are obviously afraid, but stand their ground on the raft with the large statue there.
The 4 of you, that one was wise.
That Kawatoa is swimming away.
That was the
That one
smart
succeeded on the wisdom save.
They're very translucent.
You don't see that much. All right, so Noob, they're there kind of at a stopping point, and he kind of looks back at the the three of you in the boat, and Draken's flying around and hovering.
I go,
And
give a big thumbs up and
And try to.
kind of like nods weakly, goes, oh, okay, and they start moving forward again.
I don't understand his language. That would be called an aboleth.
Good to know. They pull the raft inside into the space. You guys following?
we all gonna die.
We'll say this should have happened earlier. I'm sorry, I forgot. So we'll backtrack slightly a little bit. At the end of your day, as you were setting up camp for your long rest, Wendune receives a message in his brain from the Green Dragon. It says, I fear Willow's suspicion at my prolonged absence. I will need to return to her domain to avoid her wrath. Are we doing this soon? In reply with 25 words or less.
I'll tell him on the morrow we will be fighting what creature lies in the center of the lake, in the center of this level. So within a day or two.
The way the sending spell works is they send a message and they get a response. So you got that response, and didn't respond anymore. So okay.
I wouldn't have been able to tell her, hey, we need help, and answer her message.
All right. So okay, just took care of that little bit of bookkeeping I forgot about. Rainier has not seen the aboleth. And so he at the head of this boat and goes, whoa! When this thing and you guys are like, yeah! So the ceiling above goes up quite high. You can't quite see the ceiling.
Hey, that one guy jumped off the boat. I'm going to jump in the spot.
Okay, cool. So you're on the raft now with Noob and Draken. You're flying overhead. And Bolt is coming.
He's just underwater.
The raft continues forward with Wendune above and forward. I need everyone to do perception checks.
14 from Melannor, I got a 7.
Do a flash of genius and have a 10.
All I see is the back of Melanor's head.
Even with those low rolls, Melannor, Wendune, and Draken, you notice movement beneath the raft in the water.
Can I shoot ice? Can I shoot a fireball as a movement?
You can try with disadvantage because you can't really see it. You just notice movement. Because again, this water is covered in slime. It's not exactly see-through. It's just you see the slime kind of surge a little bit.
I got an 8.
Right, with 18, you do hit whatever it was.
I did 15 damage, whatever it was.
15 damage. Now everyone rolls initiative.
Ha!
Rolled a 9, Melannor got a 10.
Got a 2.
Oh, I got a low on that.
They have to make a DC charisma saving throw. 13.
They got a natural 1.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It is definitely higher than yours.
So he goes at a 2 then.
Nice, you can shoot.
Yeah, whatever that was goes to a 2.
You go to 11.
Oh, that was definitely higher than mine.
Okay. Well, so no one's got higher than 20, right? So at initiative 20, a lair action triggers.
All layer action?
Any creature on the ground or on the boat within 20 feet of the water must succeed at a DC 16 strength saving throw.
I'm 20 feet above the water.
So Draken is not affected by this, and I'm going to say this only affects Nugaloop and Wendune and the other Kawatoa on the boat. So they're the ones being targeted by this.
I rolled a 1.
Okay.
Flash of genius.
Yeah. I'm going to have to do that again. 5 for 4.
Kawatoas all fail. So everyone on that boat, all of a sudden the water just kind of surges over the boat and they all go under the water. So everyone on that boat, including Wendune, gets dragged under the water and are essentially knocked prone. And you are dragged 20 feet down. So if you're in the water, That was the lair action. Next, it's Kawatoa's turn. And as they attempt to swim up,
Can't they breathe underwater?
I believe can. Yeah, they are. They can breathe water, yes. So they attempt to make their way up. They can swim just as fast as they can walk, so there's no like half movement or anything for swim speed and that kind of stuff. So one of the Kawatoas breaks the surface of the water, gasping for quote-unquote clean air, and is going to do a quick athletics check to get up onto the raft again. Can't quite make it. It rolled a 2 on its athletics check, and it's struggling through all the slime, and it's like covered in this gross stuff on its head and everything. Draken, you are the next to act. You're flying above all of this.
Am I still able to see the movement
With all the churning of the water and everything, no, you can't really see anything as far as another creature down there. You can't even see the ones who are down there because the slime covers the water, and you can't really see them. You can't have an idea where they might be in the general vicinity.
I'm going to go ahead and try to shoot in the same spot that I did last time. The
Okay.
fire lightning bolt.
You roll disadvantage. Your lightning bolt, is that what you just said?
It's a firebolt.
Firebolt?
Turned into a lightning bolt halfway.
You know, our allies are in the water, right?
I'm hitting the same spot that I hit it last time.
Yeah.
18.
With lightning.
So you shoot this thing into the water. It goes down into the water, and you're not sure if you hit or not. Let's roll damage anyway.
Roll damage anyway. 19 damage. I'm gonna go ahead and hold a level 3 witch bolt for when I can see the whatever.
Now go ahead and spend the slot.
Yeah, because I can't get rid of it.
But if by the time it comes back to you again, if you haven't seen an enemy, you lose the slot. So you know. Okay. Another Kawatoa, freshly fried from a lightning bolt effect, tries to breaks the surface of the lake.
Did I hit it?
It's like
Sorry.
And it's going to do a quick acrobatics check to try to get up onto the raft.
Did I hit it?
Rolled an 8. It's really struggling. It's like halfway on. It's like his arms are up on the raft, like reaching out towards someone to help, but there's no one there. Okay. At this point, Draken, I'd like you to do a perception check, please.
11.
Okay.
Also,
Another Kawatoa. This one is Noob. This one breaks the surface of the water and attempts to get up on the raft. He does. So Noob manages to get up on the raft, and he will begin to start helping the other ones get on the raft as well. Wendune, you are in the water. You are 20 feet down.
Okay, before I do anything, can I see this thing swimming around, or is the water too murky?
Do a perception with disadvantage. It is very murky down there.
17.
That's with disadvantage?
Yeah, I rolled a 22 with the other one.
I'll say with 17, you do see this large clawed creature kind of move in front of you, about over here somewhere.
All right, I'm going to cast Water Walk on all 9 of us.
Water walk. All right, you cast water walk, and you immediately surge up to the surface, and you break the surface of the lake. You no longer have spiders on it.
on this Kawatoa.
Yeah, I would add to get rid of that.
So the other 3 Kawatoa, I'm just going to copy Noob here, all burst up from the water as well, and they get up onto the boat. All right, so you're all water walking now above on the surface of the lake.
Except I'm up in the air.
So you're up in the air, so you're not worried about it. But George, Melannor, and Manir all have water walk as well on the boat.
Also, Wendune, is he within range for that? He should have, not Wendune, Boulder. He should have been.
Boulder? Yeah, we'll say he was. So he comes up onto the surface as well. He's right about right here.
Okay. I'm going to get him with my bonus action to move within 5 feet of the Kawatoa. I'm going to stay put. I'm going to try to keep them kind of guarded because I feel like they might be a little bit more squishy.
That's Wendune's turn.
You're going to sink right now.
You feel the surge
All right.
of water walk. Melannor does, and you choose if you wish to jump out of the boat, run around, or what.
All right, so we still can't see this thing, right?
That's true.
But everybody is out of the water.
Well, the Kawatoa, except for Noob, are in the water still,
But on
but
top.
on top.
But like they're above the water.
They're on top of the water.
So we know where they are.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Melannor is going to cast Flaming Sphere about 10 feet below the water level, underneath where Draken was attacking.
About right.
And so it sheds light out to 40 feet.
Bright light.
20 feet bright, 20 feet down.
Okay, so again, the surface of this lake is covered in slime, and it's like walking through marsh. Like I said, ankle deep. But with all
This
the
stuff
That
is
surge
all the
didn't push
churning-
the slime around?
Yeah, with all the churning and everything, I'll say that you do start to see within the murky water this motionless shape of this large creature. So when you reveal,
He's
Fading.
there's
That? Wait, what?
one of these tools is under the water right now, and approximately would have been about right here.
all right.
She's my wish book.
All right, yeah, you can see it now. So your held action to shoot your witch bolt takes place.
19.
That definitely hits.
20 damage.
So the flaming sphere erupts in the middle of the water here. As the light is cast, you can see through the cracks made in the sludge and this creature down there in the murky depths.
So now I can see this thing. I'm going to cast Frostbite at it as my bonus action. Constitution save.
You got a 5.
All right, so it's going to take 12 points of cold damage.
Okay.
And it's has disadvantage on this next attack roll. All right, and that's Melannor's turn.
Does he want to move? He can move out of the boat if he wanted to.
Yeah, let's move like over here. Just so we're not all making a big bunch target.
All right, slides over there. Okay, George's turn. George, you've seen all this
All right,
erupt in front of you.
how far deep is this thing?
The water
Oh, the thing in the water. How deep is
is
it?
a jewel. It looks like it's a good
Yeah.
10 foot below the surface of the lake.
Hmm. All right, so in that case, I'm going to hop out the boat and go. Hard to see the grid. I think that's about 30 feet.
So there is this large stone, this stalagmite coming up out of the depths of the lake, out through the surface of the water that is causing a little bit of a break in your line of sight with the creature.
Oh, can I go like here then instead? Like somewhere I can see it.
Yep.
That's still 30 feet.
Yes.
All right. Moonbeam. That's a Constitution save.
I rolled a 15.
Half as much on a successful save. Okay, so it still does take damage of 5, but it stays there, right?
The moonbeam can be moved with your bonus action, I think.
What
I
does
can
that
do as
do?
an action to move it.
As an action move.
Yeah, it's the first time and on a turn, and it starts its turn on Moonbeam. If it's in the beam, it takes that damage. So it's a persistent thing.
Okay.
And I am concentrating on it now. And bonus action, I will Toll the Dead. Wisdom save.
They've got a natural 20.
Well, then it doesn't take any damage from that. And that's all George is going to do.
All right.
Add a little salt to that recipe, huh?
Toll the Dead is a cantrip. It's a good cantrip. And George doesn't have a lot of bonus action stuff.
It swims forward. It comes up towards you guys, and not quite breaking the surface of the lake. It's right there beneath, though. And it's going to quickly take a swipe, a pincher attack at Wendune. First one is a 21 to hit. All right, so you take 12 bludgeoning damage,
All right.
and you are grappled.
Oh, he pinched me.
This big pincher comes in and grabs a hold of you out of the water with his 10-foot long
Alright.
reach. And then with its other hand,
Nice work.
it's going to swipe at George. He gets a 10.
Bring it on.
So
Yeah.
you bring up your shield, easily glances off your shield. And then with the successfully grappled Wendune, what's your, you're immune to poison?
I have advantage against poison and resistance to poison.
Okay, so make a Constitution saving throw with advantage.
23 for the first one.
So it doesn't even do anything to you. You're like, no, whatever. It gives these red tentacles coming off of its head. You're like, and you're like, that tickles. It's gross. All right, Rainier's turn. Haven't played with Rainier in a long time. Rainier jumps off the boat and he rushes up with his 40 walking speed. Gets up behind with advantage, since he's flanking now. And dagger. 25 to hit. Does 9 damage with his first strike, 9 damage plus sneak attack, which is 14. His second swipe actually hits, 8 damage with that. That's Rainier's turn. He comes up, rushes, you see this blur sweep around with his ratted cloak, gets up behind the Joel and steps out. Does a boatload of damage all of a sudden. All right, next.
Good question.
Yeah.
Is he within 5 feet of that flaming spirit that Melannor did?
How deep did you say it was? That he placed it?
Like 10 feet?
Then, yeah, he would be actually.
Okay, so he's going to take that damage when he ended his turn.
All right, go for it.
Boiling water.
Well, the dex save. Yeah.
Natural 1 for the dex save.
Alright, so he's going to take 3 big lane points.
Next to act, I need George to do a wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
It's going to be a 16.
You pass. You feel this fog circle your vision, and you're like, oh, my dark vision's acting up again. But then there's like your brain starts to sizzle in your head. You're like, oh, wait a minute. And you kind of shake your head real harsh, and it kind of goes away. And you hear that everybody in the cavern hears this voice go, "You will be mine."
Oh, thank
That's
you.
all that happens then. And let's see, I need. Nope, I don't see anything. Okay. Top of the round, a lair action. All creatures with it touching the water. You don't have to be within the water, but if you're touching the water, I need to make a wisdom saving throw. So all the Kawatoa except for Noob, Melannor, Wendune, George, Rainier.
Hello.
Wisdom?
Wisdom saving throw.
Alright, 17
that one.
for George,
Not the water's piss.
19 for Melannor.
Right, Wendune takes 14 psychic damage from the water itself.
Is this a magic attack?
It is a lair action. So no. So the water becomes like this conduit of rage as this damage courses through Wendune. Let me do it real quickly for the Kawatoa as well. Noob does not take damage, but the other ones do. Alright. They all go, ah! You know, they kind of almost like getting electrocuted, but it's in their minds.
So nobody died.
So that was the lair action. That's the top of the round. All right, the Kawatoa, who is in the water still, he gets helped up onto the boat by Noob. And he sees the jewel there right beneath the water. So it's going to cast Sacred Flame. So you see it kind of whoosh, bring up its hands and rains down this radiant fire onto the Chol. It has to do a dex saving throw. Natural 20 on its save. It's going to try to attack with its staff. It's going to start stabbing at it. Oh, 22 to hit for the first one with its little staff. Does 4 damage. The jewel is bloodied. Going to attack again with its staff. That time it misses. So we got a good stab in there with its little trident. And now Draken is your turn. You're flying up in the air.
Since I cast Witch Bolt, I can snap my fingers and I roll damage for a level 3 Witch Bolt again without casting it. This one is 16 damage.
Alright, 16 damage as your constant effect of the Witch Bolt circling around it just kind of stabs inside of it and rips out the other side and then starts circling around it again.
Not dead.
Not good.
I'm going to shoot a Firebolt / Lightning Bolt.
Firebolt cantrip.
Firebolt cantrip that's turn
Yeah.
halfway. Okay. Oh man, 12.
That's a miss. You move.
I'll kind of move a bit closer to more above the boat. The two fellow are.
You're floating above the boat, the raft with the statue in it.
Yeah.
At this point, the other Kawatoa gets in the boat, gets on the raft, and starts chattering at Noob. And Noob goes, "Over there, to the island!" And he points across the water here to this mass of lands on this side, where you can just barely see it from your 30-foot dark vision and from the light. This light from the fire is illuminating underneath the water, but not necessarily
What about
going
the
up
movie?
to the land.
What about the movie?
The
Moving just as a dim light.
Yeah, it's a dim light. So you can't really see what's up here on this, whatever this island is. But Noob is directing the Kawatoa that way. All right, at this point, I need Melannor to do a perception check, please.
Oh, it's over there?
8.
And actually, Draken, you're way up in the air. You can do one too, since you have a vantage point.
Oh, vantage point. I can see the whole room.
You can see up to 30 feet away.
I have a pass.
Nobody sees anything.
I rolled a 3, but I have a passive of 11.
So as this raft,
Melannor has a passive of 15.
nope. Well, we'll say, okay, with a passive of 15, Melannor can see a large surge heading toward that raft with the Kawatoa on it, coming from the northeast area of this cave. But doesn't see any particular creature at all. Wendune, these large jewels in front of you, it looks pretty bloody. The Kawatoa starts moving away, trying to get to this island over here.
I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Branding Smite, and I'm going to stab it with the Poisoner's Dagger if it connects.
Okay,
16 to hit.
that just hits.
Alright, damage from the Poisoner's Dagger is 4. Branding Smite adds 9, so 13.
You feel the grip around you loosen, and it goes limp as you bring your Poisoner's Dagger out after the flash of fire from your branding smite, and it sinks down into the murky depths.
So it's dead.
It is dead.
No, it's still got whatever's moving under the water.
Melnor's going to holler out that something's coming from the northeast.
It is Melnor's turn, although Wendune if you want to move or anything. But you hear Melannor yell this on his turn, not yet.
I can't do anything. Moving wouldn't really help me any.
Okay, so you stay put. Melannor now yells out, "Something's a-coming!"
Something's coming. And with that, he's going to move the fire thing, the flaming sphere, to the northeast.
That dude is...
Alrighty.
Deep beneath the water,
Great.
this giant green turquoise tool is lurking and is moving toward the party.
Oh.
This flaming sphere goes above it. It's like you see the light cast above it.
As it goes above, I want to change direction and go straight down and ram into it.
All right, goes down. This flaming sphere kind of burrows into it.
All right, so it's going to make a dex save.
All right. We got an 11.
All right, so it's going to take 4 big points of damage for this flaming spear ramming into it.
Okay.
4 big points.
So this flaming spear.
4 big points.
It's like you dropped a hot coal on its back. It like looked like bats at it with its claw. Like, it's been pricked. But it's on its way under the murky depths. It's about 15 to 20 foot down. And it's a huge version of this jewel.
Then I will then cast. So it looks pretty intimidating. I'm going to cast Blight at 6th level.
Oh my goodness.
That's a con save, right?
Con save.
Blight is 6.
Oh, I rolled so poorly. I rolled a 10.
Thank you.
All right.
God.
So it's going to take all of this damage. 10d8.
This is why I tried to get rid of Melannor.
280.
So that's 45 points of necrotic damage.
All right, so you drop the hot coal on his back at first, and it's almost like a hot coal massage kind of thing going on. But then you're like, oh no, here we go. And you snap his fingers, and his blighted green energy explodes out underneath the water like a inky black mess from a squid, and it just like boils the water around the giant jewel, and it's you hear the scream from underneath the water.
All right, that's going to be Melnor's turn. He's going to move to like there.
All right.
Like, put some of the other people in between him and this behemoth of a thing.
Yep. All right, George, your turn. George, you have not quite noticed this thing. It's a bit of a distance away under the water, a good 20 feet down. Although Melannor bailed out, so you do look that direction. So let's have you do a perception check with advantage, since it's kind of lit up underneath the water, but you have a lot of slime and junk in between you and it.
A natural 20 to
Okay, then you see it. You see it coming. There's a great light under.
All right, bonus action. I'm going to move the moonbeam over to it because I still got it going. So it's going to make a Constitution save.
Okay. 19.
All right, so this is what they have. So yeah, it's like 5.
5 damage.
Yeah. And this thing is well below the top of the water, right? Like I can't reach it,
It's
right?
within a space of like 15 to 20, 30 feet down below the water. It's taking up a large amount of space down there. But yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull out my blasting amulet I have and do Scorching Ray against it. That's going to be a 10,
Yes.
an 8,
Yes.
and a 24.
That one hits.
Wow. For another 6 big points of damage.
Okay. So these 3 bolts of fiery energy shoot out of this thing and down into the water. 2 of them kind of fizzle out. Kind of turn to smoke, and one of them strikes right between the eyes. Like,
All right, and then I'm going to move. Up there.
okay. So I'm going to reveal a little bit more of that so you can see more. And this statue, or imagine the statue's not there yet. That's the statue they're going to put up there if they get a chance. Okay? But they have essentially this large stone in the middle of this island in the center of this lake. are
They're shiny.
they're going to attempt to place this statue there.
All right.
You do see several kind of like offerings of shards of some sort of material, but we don't have time to look at that right now.
Yeah, face the creature.
All right. Lanier's turn. Lanier, after all you've all done with the fire bolts and everything, he sees it now, and he's like, "Oh, that looks good." And he's gonna rush over here up onto the island, and he's gonna await an opportunity to attack. To hold an attack action until he has the opportunity to do so. I need Draken to do a wisdom saving throw.
7.
Draken, you feel your mind kind of become foggy, and this voice in your head goes, "You're mine now." And Draken, you have become enslaved.
How do you become unenslaved?
Whenever the charmed target takes damage, you can repeat the saving throw.
Someone hit me. So what? Do I get to do whatever it says?
You have to do whatever it says. And everyone hears, "Ho, ho, 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 ho." Echo. All right, lair action at the top of the round. I need George, Wendune, Rainier, and all the Kawatoa to do a wisdom saving throw.
For fun, like
15 for George,
18.
25 for Melannor.
All right, Rainier and all the Kawatoa suddenly go, "Ah!" You know, and y'all start yelling out in fear, and these Kawatoa jump off the boat. And Rainier goes, "Oh, the raft's on fire!" And you guys don't see a fire,
I might set it on fire if you
but
tell me to.
Rainier goes, "It's on fire!" And all the Kawatoa see this fire, and they all take damage from the fire as if it's real. They all take 5 damage. They all jump off. They're obviously not sinking into the water, but they're not on the boat. They're not taking it to the island. So this Kawatoa begins just frantically taking the netting and such and starts whacking at the boat, trying to put out these imaginary flames that it sees. Draken, it's your turn. You feel your hand.
Is our goal to actually destroy this thing or just get the statue up?
Draken assess Wall of Force.
I never used that. Do I even have that?
Yeah, you do. So you see, Draken, you put out your staff, and in a way of seriousness that Draken has never demonstrated before, he says this wash, this draconic phrase, and this shimmering wall appears right there in front of you, George, blocking off you from the large stool, the Kawatoa, the raft, and circles around in this L shape. Your bonus action is you're going to cast Ray of Frost at Wendune.
21.
21 to hit
Wow.
Wendune.
That is.
13 frost damage. Your speed is reduced by 10 feet, Wendune.
No, that's wow. Okay.
So you
We're planning on
suddenly
moving
become kind
anyway.
of frozen up as your ally floating above you just rushes out this ray of frost at you from beneath.
I love flying.
And now, Draken, you are going to fly.
Wow.
Okay. Kawatoas all start whacking at the boat, trying to put out the fire. This big dude moves to the side under the water.
He's going to take damage
from the
from the moonbeam.
Okay.
Yeah, so it needs to do the Constitution save.
We got a 23.
I'm going to put my water until it's
Yeah, okay, never mind then. Well, he takes half damage.
Okay.
2.
2 damage.
Still, we're 2 already at.
You see from beneath these 2 giant creatures come up, and each hand goes for Kawatoa. First one is 15 to hit, which hits. 15 damage to 1 Kawatoa, and it is grappled in its large pincher. Second Kawatoa, 12 to hit, which hits. It will take 17 damage, and it is grappled. Both of these are in its large, massive hands, and it attempts to bring them down into the water, but because of the water walking, they're kind of stuck. So it's kind of holding them there. And they're like, being held by these large pinchers. And then it's going to actually pull itself up toward them, and it's going to do its tentacle poison attack against the first one that it has in its grasp. Roll a 15, which is, let's see, that is not enough. So it takes 12 points of poison damage and becomes paralyzed. So the first Kawatoa, it like drapes its red tentacles around it. It's like, ah, it becomes like stiff as a board and stops moving. Big Loop will say he's going to do a wisdom save, see if he notices that this fire's not real yet. He does not. But he's going to start pushing the raft anyway, even if it's on fire, in his mind, away from this creature to try to succeed in his mission. So he's going to do a strength check real fast. At 22. So the raft does start to move. And hits this wall, of course.
It is pretty evil.
And it's not able to get past that wall, of course. Alright, Wendune. Your turn.
Alright, having gotten hit by a ray of frost, being a little irritated about that, and the sudden appearance of a wall of something keeping things from moving, I'm gonna shoot Draken.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh my goodness.
That is a miss.
I'm gonna do it again. That's a 20.
That is.
Okay, I am going to do...
Actually, Draken cast shield as a reaction.
Does he?
Shield?
What did I give him? Did I make it not hit?
What shield do?
That gives him +5. That would make him
That makes
have
it
an
not
AC
hit.
of 23.
I'll use the spell
So
slot.
use a spell slot for your shield reaction.
Bonus action, I will cast Firebolt.
Oh.
But it's only doing 11, so never mind.
Yep, this is-
It's a lot of low rolls. And that's it. That's all I can do.
yep. So you have 23 armor class until your next turn. You're going to squeeze against the wall of force of this rock to get over here.
Trying to get a little bit of cover there.
Alright. Melannor is going to see what's going on, that the Kawatoa are kind of trapped by this wall of force.
Yeah.
And is going to cast Dispel Magic at 5th level.
Got
That
it.
works. The wall of force fails. As a 5th level counter spell you use to remove. Noob like has been pushing this whole time. Pushes it through.
That was action. Bonus action is going to be
Lightning bolt. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
No, he's going to see everything else going on, and he is going to cast Frostbite at Dragon.
Okay.
So that's a Constitution save.
Roll that for me, please.
So it bypasses the AC. Huh?
26, baby.
26.
At +8.
Yeah, okay.
George is up there now. He's on right here at the
All right.
island. The wall of force goes away.
All right, so first thing I'm going to do is Toll the Dead on Dragon. Wisdom save.
Oh, how you did good. 17.
17.
Yeah, fine, that's good. All right, so I am going to grab this statue thing off this boat and put it up here where it's supposed to go.
Okay, I need you to do a strength check.
23.
All right, you grab a hold of this effigy, this large statue. This thing is heavy. This thing weighs a good 400 pounds or so, 500 pounds. But you can do it. Your half-orc muscles strain, and you pick this thing up.
If I need to, I'll rage and do it. I'll do it.
You manage to get it up off the boat, and you lug it over here onto the edge of the coast of this island here. But you're not quite put it up yet. Okay, it has to be shoved up again if you want to get it up there.
Okay, so that's all I can do right now.
Right here.
I don't know if this is going to do anything, but
And Loop is like, yes, because he sees this. So Rainier sees the boat is on fire, but you did pull this thing off the boat, and the nature of that illusion is only affecting the boat, so if you pull it through the fire off of it. So Rainier goes over here to help. And he's going to do a strength check on this.
This is gonna go well.
Yeah, he got a 15. He moves it a good 5 feet, we'll say. The Aboleth's turn. Somewhere in this building.
Somewhere.
In this cave. Your friends will destroy you. You cannot resist. Join me. Across the side here. Bursting out of the water. And he sees George is distracted. He's going to take a pincher attack at him. $13 to hit.
this
So you feel this large pressure in your back. You turn just in time and bring up your shield and block it off. Second strike is a 22 to hit, though.
that hits.
You take 11 points of damage and you're grappled. So do a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
19.
19. It puts its tentacles in your face and you go, no, I don't want any. No. And you resist it. All right, top of the round, the lair action takes place. The fire on the boat, Rainier, and the Kawatoa Sea vanishes as the illusion goes away. And everyone within the water must make a wisdom saving throw. So Wendune, 19, Melannor, and Kawatoa.
24.
Down here,
Are you gonna kill everybody?
you kind of land Superman style right here in the middle of everybody. You
Awesome!
bring up your staff, and you're speaking in Draconic right now.
I'm gonna kill everybody, yes.
And you take it in 2 hands and snap it over your knee.
It will destroy everything!
I need you to roll a D100, please.
U100 is so cool.
If it's 50 or above, you vanish.
58 does not get!
58, you instantly go blink out of existence. And I need everyone else in the area, which is going to be, make a dexterity saving throw. So everyone who's up to 30 feet away, actually. So 30 feet away. Everyone within 30 feet.
Basically, everybody that mountain.
You said Dex?
Dexterity saving throw.
That's a 7 for me.
Game.
So everyone within this circle.
Big old 12.
This is magic damage, right?
Yes.
Okay, so me and Rainier are going to take half damage for whatever this is.
80
As long as it doesn't do over 160. 80?
80 points of damage in half.
So 40.
So
I think
The
it's
Chol-
just
takes 80.
There's nothing to it.
All right, anyone who is 10 feet away or further is going to take 60 damage.
That'd be 104.
6, like, with the deck save?
The dex save would be half. Sorry.
What was the Dex save?
17 dex save.
I took
So
60
Melannor needs to
damage.
make a deck save? You've been wanting to get rid of that staff for a long time. Is he? How are you doing, Wendune?
I am very bloody.
Are you not
The
dead?
killer character.
Not
That's
dead,
good.
just very bloody.
And Draken's gone.
Where am I?
figure that out in a bit.
We'll find you later.
Okay, the Kawatoa are dead. The ones that were in the
Even Oogaloo?
Nugaloo, he is not dead. He's
What?
not doing well though. He's way bloody. He's like, oh, what was that? Big guy. He took a lot of damage just now, and he's not too pleased. Oh yeah, this guy's dead. He just got vaporized. By this giant explosion. And for this guy, he's going to come up behind Nugaloo.
This guy, he's still there?
Yeah.
Really?
And he misses, actually. He's weakened by this sudden explosion that rocked this area. And yeah, he misses Nugaloo.
Is the statue still in one piece?
How about I roll for it?
Because it's right there, too.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Rolled an 85, so I'm going to say it's damaged. It's definitely damaged, but it's still about 85% complete. So it lost some of its form. The lantern falls off, and some of the body parts are now like skeletal. But it's definitely it's about 85% there now. Noogaloop is going to disengage and rush ahead here and attempt to keep pushing on this thing, but the disengage was his action. All right, Wendune, you just got a big blast to the face, and it's your turn.
Can I take a healing potion as a bonus action?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm going to cast Conjure Barrage at that big dude
Okay.
using a bullet.
19.
Would you like me to
Dang.
delete the death tower?
Yes.
Well, he takes half as much damage as I'm about to roll then,
Okay.
which would be 6.
So you like loft the bullet up in the air, and it suddenly explodes and like comes down over top of the jewel.
Yeah, and then as a bonus action, I am going to take a Superior Potion of Health. 19 plus 8 is 27.
Okay.
That's pretty low.
8d4, you rolled a 19. That's not good.
Yeah.
You want to move?
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I want to get out of his path of destruction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to move up behind Rainier.
Melannor's turn. You managed to avoid the brunt of that. But you see Draken's gone, who knows where, and a large amount of damage just got distributed.
Action's going to be. Yeah. Thinking that Draken is probably vaporized, Melannor is going to cast this in his honor and lightning bolt that thing.
Thank you. I'm not.
Right?
Roll a 3. Roll a 3.
All right. So it's going to take us 25 points of lightning damage.
Melannor's like, no, Draken! Ah! Giant lightning bolt.
I'm not dead.
Lord, this thing.
I don't know that. You just broke your staff and disappeared.
You left
Okay.
behind dust.
That's your action.
Yes. Is it still alive? All right. Bonus action is going to be
I'll never just take my staff. Nope.
Thinker Flame.
Second plane. So wisdom save?
Another dex save. Dex.
Got an 18. Okay. George's turn.
I'm going to rage
Okay.
Am I on
to
it?
get this thing on this pedestal.
Rage-filled statue lifting.
19.
Rage-filled motion. You lift up the statue and set it up onto the rock. All right.
All right.
Noogaloo goes, the ritual. The ritual! Of course, you can't understand him now, and the only one who could is gone. He's like, "Look up here! Look up here!"
Alright, so nothing happens. Alright. In that case, I will turn and face this big thing. And that was my action to lift it up, huh?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm going to toll the dead on his head. Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Natural 1.
13 points of damage. And then I am going to run up to it. Right there. And just scream in his face. Ah! Can I roll intimidation against this thing?
Do an intimidation. Sure.
Oh, the 2. It's only 8.
He looks at you. Here's his turn. He's like, "Oh my goodness gracious, where'd Draken go?" and all this stuff. He just got blown up in the face. Giant explosion. He sees you put up the statue. He's like, "Okay, we got that done, I guess." And nothing happens yet, so he's going to assist you. You can actually get all the way up around it, behind it.
Flanking.
You're flanking advantage.
Don't forget sneak attack.
Your sneak attack, yeah. So Nier's going to go for strike. With advantage. There's a 19. That definitely hits. So you get 7 plus sneak attack damage. It's going to be 22. It's going to do another, Renier's going to do another strike with his other offhand. And that is a miss with a 15. So big stab in the back, and then another one breaks across the scales. Whew. At this point, the Aboleth's turn. He rushes up through here, coming up behind Melannor.
Actually, Melannor is not damaged at all. So it's about his time to be damaged, I guess.
Yeah. Your turn.
So surging up from the water, coming up behind Melannor. Golor makes his appearance. And first of all, I need everyone to do a wisdom saving throw within 120 feet, so everybody. So,
Yikes.
15 for Melannor.
Big old 5.
13 for George.
the Wendune and Melannor are both frightened. Now,
Melannor is immune to frightened.
Melanor's immune to frightened. How about George with his rage? Can he be frightened? Actually, you know what? Roll with D20 for me. If you get above 10, you're not afraid.
Draken said, I'm
12.
All right, you're not afraid.
Yay.
But Wendune, you are afraid. You cannot move toward the creature. You have disadvantage against the creature. That's just with its frightful presence. And then it's going to do a tentacle attack against Melannor. It's going to be a D20 plus 12. It's going to be 19 plus 12. So it hits.
Yeah, that is.
So that's going to do 15 bludgeoning damage. And he's immune to disease. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's going to...
He's immune to a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. And he's going to do another tentacle attack.
Is he a legendary creature?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's going to be 25 to hit.
Alright.
It's going to be 16 damage, bludgeoning damage, immune to disease. And then come in with a tail attack. The tail whips through. 17 plus 12, so 20.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
23 bludgeoning damage. This giant tail whacking in.
Jeez.
All right. Golor has made itself.
He just like 2/3 of his health right there.
You'll die.
Okay. Layer action at the top of the round.
I'm glad I'm not there.
I need George. I need you to do a wisdom save.
Yeah. Okay.
Please fail. I want to see that happen.
12.
You want this game to end?
Apparently. He wants the TPK right now.
That's what's about to happen.
All right, so George, all of a sudden you see the dead Kawatoa around you all start to mouths move like a dead fish, and they start to moan at you. And kind of freaked out by this. They all start moaning at you.
I'm kind of freaked out.
And then you see floating up from beneath the water the body of Draken, his dead corpse.
But I'm not dead.
Coming up out of the water, floating up toward the surface, goes, whoa, and it reaches out towards you.
Yeah, George doesn't know that.
You think that's dead?
Alright. So am I frightened or I'm just seeing this stuff?
You're seeing this stuff.
Alright.
It's freaking you out. Draken, it's your turn.
Awesome.
Roll D10.
9.
You suddenly find yourself, it's very aptly put, actually. Your mind clears suddenly and you find yourself underwater.
What?
You're in this deep ocean. The pressure on your ears is immense. And all these strange creatures, like small fish that you've never seen before, are floating about around you.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I have something that
And you don't know where you are. All right, but it is your turn, though. Do you want to do something in particular?
Yes, I know I have this. I just gotta find it. Potion of water breathing.
Good idea.
I know where you are.
You like funnel in your bag all of a sudden, like pull out the potion, and these gills kind of sprout when you make them. Oh, actually, no, the water kind of brushes into your lungs, and your lungs magically translate the oxygen from the water, and it feels like you're drowning for a second, but then you kind of can gasp, and it like chokes your throat and your lungs, but then you can breathe through it anyway, and it's a strange sensation.
Is there any up?
You just see it's dark, and you can have your staff's light on, and you can see just murky, dark.
What staff?
Oh yeah, you're right. Your staff's on.
You
You can cast light on something else.
I cast light on my what's it called?
Fingers?
Wand of
Nose?
lightning bolt.
You pull out your wand of lightning bolt and cast light on it, and it emits this 20-foot bright light around you. You are deep underwater. That's all you know.
Can
All
I
you
go
can
up?
see. You don't see any floor beneath you. You don't see any surface above you. You see nothing around you but water and particulate matter in the water. You see kind of floating through. It's not like it's full of sand and murky. It's clear and crisp, but you can't see darkness. There's no light coming from above. Nothing. Anyway, that's where you are.
Okay. I'm looking at my actions. Stop.
Next is the giant chawl. It's essentially about dead, and so it kind of sees the writing on the wall and sees mommy over here or whatever, and it starts to move away, and you can hear this voice go, "Oh no, you don't!" And it's like its eyes kind of glaze over, and it like swings at George. 26 to hit George. 17 bludgeoning damage.
So 9?
Yep, halved. So you're grappled.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Not for long.
And then a natural 1 on its second hit, so doesn't hit you again. All right. Loop-a-loop. rushes onto the land and starts doing this dancing around the statue, you know, in this ritual thing around this statue. He's finally gotten here. Wendune's kind of watching this. Like, okay. And it's your turn, Wendune. You're afraid you cannot move closer to Golar. Yeah, left.
I want to move here
You move,
so that I can't see him.
you move away out of line of sight from Golar.
And I want to shoot the thing in front of George.
Shooting the trouble. Okay.
I've got to figure out how I want to do it first, though. So give me a second. I want to shoot it with the phasic bow. 16 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, try again. 28 to hit. 10 damage.
10 damage. You see the eyes that were glazed over for a moment kind of go dark. And this giant creature just sinks beneath the waves of this underground lake.
Well then, in his fear, he is going to do another of the potions, the big ones.
Okay.
The 8d4 plus 8.
Yeah.
Come on, settle down. There you go. So that would be 25 more points of healing.
All right, chug another potion.
Only 17 health. Only 17 on the roll.
Right. You're no longer bloodied, though.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better.
All right, Melannor's turn. He's within the mucus emitting this green stuff kind of coming off of this aboleth in the water.
Right. Let's see here. I'm going to disengage.
Okay.
And go 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. Over here behind George.
Yeah.
Hide.
And hide. Hide behind George. And then I'm going to cast the bonus action Cure Wounds on myself at 4th level. Because that freaking thing took him down to a third of his health in one turn. So,
All right.
Okay.
George, your turn.
George, I'm going to turn around, face this thing.
Yep.
I'm going to look it in the eye as I touch my chest and recover 45 points of health
All right.
immediately. And then I'm going to run up to him. 15, 20, 25. And toll the dead right next to him. Wisdom save. Probably won't do anything, but still.
28.
Yeah, that didn't do anything. But still, now I'm a target.
Rainier's turn. He's like, yeah, okay. And he starts running this way. 40-foot in movement. Comes all the way up. Let's see. Rainier is immune to the disease because he's undead. So the mucus does nothing to him. And he's going to strike.
I'm immune to disease too.
Right.
That's why.
16 to hit. This thing does not hit. And a 25 to hit after this. For 9 damage. As the Golor takes its first damage of the encounter. Alright, Golor's turn. Alright, so he looks at Rainier and he goes and kind of flicks a tentacle at him. And goes, join me. So Rainier does do a wisdom save. That's a 12. So Rainier's eyes kind of go dark. And he kind of slumps over a little bit. Yep, it's going to take its multi-attack against George. So first hit against George.
Yes.
I rolled a 7 plus 12. 19 to hit.
That matches. Yeah.
2d8. That's going to be 21 bludgeoning damage as its tail whips around and clocks George across the head.
So 11.
And because it did the
As he
enslavement,
pops me in the head, I'm going to just look back at him.
because it did the enslavement, it only has the one attack as opposed to all the other attacks. That took up most of its attack. All right.
I'm going to look back and say, is that the best you got?
It does not answer. The lake must do a strength saving throw. Actually, everyone on the land as well. So Wendune and Noob.
Strength save.
Strength save.
And it's
16.
11 for Melannor.
16 succeeds.
I get advantage. And I just rolled a natural 20 on that.
Succeed for sure.
Let's see if I do it again. Yeah, it's a 31.
Noob has to do it as well. So the water like raises up and pulls Noob away from the statue into the water. Although the water walking prevents him from being taken down. Melannor, he kind of gets pulled down and it slams down into the water like a cement. So because of that, I'm just going to do a d6 for some bludgeoning damage into the surface of the water. So Melannor takes 3 damage from being slammed into the ground like a basketball.
Is he prone?
He is prone, yes. Okay, Draken, back to you. Meanwhile, in the peaceful water.
What plane am I in? Do I know what plane I'm in?
You're like doing this.
Do I know what
Floating
plane I'm in?
around.
Do an
Bobbing.
intelligence check. Actually, Arcana check.
Oh, that's better. Let's see. 17.
17. You know you're in a different plane of existence.
Oh, yeah.
That's obvious. You know, when you're looking around, you think you're in the plane of water. That seems like the most likely choice.
Is there any non-water place in the plane of water?
You don't know anything about the plane of water much, except that it's a plane of water where water rules, and there's a lot of water, water creatures. And luckily, your potion of water breathing lasts for about an hour.
I'm going to just start swimming up for the whole entire hour.
All right, start swimming up.
How can you tell which way is up?
Start swimming when you
Follow
feel.
the bubbles. You blow out a bubble and follow it up.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's,
blow
that's a
bubble.
good point.
So you blow a bubble and it goes that way.
I'm going to go that way.
You go that way. All right. Next, it's Moogaloo. He goes, no! He starts running back up here. Gets up off the floor.
Then he does the funny dance.
Woka, 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 woka. Start doing that ritual again.
Wooka, wooka, wooka.
Woka, woka, woka.
I rolled 13.
Let's see. 13 does not succeed.
Going to go.
You all the way over there? Here's that.
30.
Yep.
And then I'm going to. Yep. And then going to cast Light
Light.
at 5th level.
Okay.
You want to melt this thing's face off.
Constitution. Constitution thing.
18.
Alright, it's going to take half damage.
Okay.
16 points of damage.
16 damage.
A tickle. And then I'm going to cast Sacred Flame. Dex save.
11.
Alright, so he's going to take that one. And that is going to be 18 points of radiant damage. Is Aboleth a fiend?
Aboleth is an aberration.
You can't really fight a fiend.
You gotta go further down for fiends and demons and things.
Alright.
Okay,
But now I believe it's George's turn.
it is.
Alright. right, George. He's gonna look at it and say, my turn. George, smash. 18 to hit.
Miss.
Ooh-wee.
How about a 23?
That one makes. That one connects.
All right, so I'm going to use a charge
Okay.
to lower,
This thing is
and
huge.
then I'm going to.
That matters.
Is it huge?
It is huge.
Yes, it does. If it is huge, it will take. I would need to use 2 charges to lower it by 1.
Right.
But I used the 1. And then I'm going to Divine Smite at 3rd level.
Okay.
So that's going to do 7 points regular damage plus 2, so 9 plus Divine Smite, which is 2, 3, 4, 5 d8. So another 35, so 44 points of damage.
Okay.
And then,
The glowing hammer
as a
smashes down after missing the first one.
yes, told you. And then I'm going to, as bonus action, toll the day.
Wisdom, right?
Wisdom save.
So 11.
All right, so he's going to take 2d12, so 10 points of damage from that.
This giant spectral bell just cracks over the top of his thing and kind of shakes in the water. At the end of it, your turn is going to do a legendary action, and it's going to do a tail swipe against you. Right. 17 damage as a tail again swings around it. The homunculus goes, no, but misses it. It smashes into George.
So 9 halved, or 17 halved.
Right. Rainier's turn. Rainier turns on George and really quick motion, emotionless. The Revenant does 2 dagger attacks. First one is a 17 to hit.
It's a miss.
Second one is a 22 to hit.
That's a hit.
All right, so you take 9 points of piercing damage halved, right?
Yep.
And then he's going to bonus action disengage and rushes Melannor. Coming up right in his face. And he goes, "You dare to defy me." And he's going to, again, it's frightful presence. You're right there next to it. You make a wisdom saving throw, everyone within 120 feet.
It's everyone.
And Wendune, you're already frightened anyway, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
25 for Melannor. I just crit failed.
George, you're frightened.
No D20 on that one. Huh?
Not a crit fail. No. Okay, so that just means you have disadvantage on attacks against the aboleth. You cannot move any closer, although you're already pretty close, as it is. And then it's going to attack you with its tail. That's a natural 2. So a 14 to hit.
This.
And then the tentacles come in. Whoosh, whoosh, 2 of them. Natural 20.
That beats it, so beats it.
That's going to be 18 points of bludgeoning damage halved.
Yep.
Another tentacle attack. 16 plus 12, so 5.
Yeah, that is.
This one is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage halved. Okay, Draken. back to you. You've been swimming now for about 12 seconds. Okay? You're still going in it. And I need you to do a perception check.
14.
For the 14, you see a large shadow off to your right in the distance, kind of looming towards you.
I'm going
This
the other way.
large creature of some sort.
I'm dashing the other way.
Deep in the water.
I'm dashing the way I've been going.
Heading away from that thing.
Yes.
And you hear
I think the DM was tired of this game, wanted to do something else.
You hear this long, like, noise.
I am swimming, swimming. Oh, I'm building a new character. I already told you that.
All right, the Kawatoa Village. He goes, Wakaja, Wakaba! This large flourish. And suddenly the statue, like, poof, erupts in light and sparkles and, like, rainbows. And Hallister Black goes, like this flourish appears in the place of the statue. Like all the statue like erupts in this giant like explosion of debris as he like erupts from the middle of it, growing in size. Ta-da! And over the sound of the aboleth and everything, you hear loud cheers like a celebrity just walks into the room or something. Yay! I'm here! What?
It's like a cameo.
Yeah. Congratulations, Noogaloo. And Noogaloop's like just looking at him in stunned awe. And he like snaps his fingers and Noogaloop is gone.
Where'd he go?
Like this bright flash of light erupts and the Noogaloop creature, Kawatoa, is gone. And he kind of looks at all of you and goes, "You're doing so great! This is wonderful! The ratings are through the roof!" Oh, let's bring back the blueprint. He snaps his fingers at Draken, and you're swimming away from this thing in this large mouth, like, and you're like, you're gone. And Draken reappears. Can you like appear on the ground here in front of this giant Hallister black cloak?
Hello.
You're like dripping, soaking wet, and like land on the ground, like just splash of water. Much more clean than the water that you have been experiencing in this cave. Just splashes all around you. These little strange fish creatures like flop around on the ground as this like cube of water was displaced from wherever you were to here.
Hello.
And he goes, and the Hallister kind of stretches. And he goes, "Ah, yes, okay, I'm here. You guys have succeeded." Meanwhile, Golor's like, "What's going on?"
He's like, "What?"
But Golor's like, "We had a deal." He goes, "You're doing wonderful too. You're just keep doing what you're doing. You're great." The rest of you goes, "All right, change the script, okay? This is going on way too long, okay? So we're going to just kind of move through this part a little bit, and voila!" And Golor shrinks down a little bit. You see all of a sudden he's no longer huge. He's like kind of goes minuscule in size compared to what he was a moment ago. You see what kind of grows, shrinks down in front of you. And he goes, "You guys have been doing so well. You got Noogaloo here. You got the statue. Yeah, everything's just gone great. I can't believe you actually succeeded. Ah, this is just, okay. I got to calm down. I'm too excited."
Awesome.
All right, you got your blueprint back. Draken, you're cool. All right, so everybody's good? Anybody need like refreshments? No? Okay. You know what? I'll have the catering department come by afterwards. All right, so keep doing it. You're doing great. And action. He like disappears.
Wow. All right.
So Golor like, "Oh, no." Wendune, you suddenly find yourself no longer a fright.
Oh, that's great. But Rainier is still under control.
Rainier is still under control.
Okay.
So Wendune, it's your turn now. So you just had all this action in front of you. Draken suddenly appears back where he was, just soaked through the bone wet. And yeah, Golor is no longer as big as he was.
So he did attack George, right?
He did, yes.
Okay, the dagger that he stuck him with, it's made of metal, right?
Yes.
I'm going to heat it. There's no save, it's just straight damage.
He kind of moves move over here so you can see him.
To the back, so you get for my turn.
And he takes 4 damage.
Rainier takes 4 damage, and he drops the dagger he's holding. So he's like, like it cinches his hand, and he drops the dagger to the ground.
Okay.
He has another dagger in his other hand.
I'm going to move, as my bonus action, move Boulder closer to George. Oh, dang, I just closed that on my character sheet. He got 45 feet of movement.
Okay. You can get that right here if he wants.
All right. No, good. No, good.
Okay.
With him being damaged, that means he gets to do the wisdom save again, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You rolled a 2, so that's
Dang.
not great.
All right. That's all I got.
All right, that's good. Melanor's turn. So you see Rainier drop his dagger in front of you, but he's got this kind of dark look in his eye.
Let's do produce flame against him. See what that does. Or 11, because that would be much.
11 missing.
Alright, in that case, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast Lightning Bolt at 4th level. And I'm going to aim it like this.
You're gonna kill this dude.
2 birds, 1 stone.
There goes Renee.
Oh, wait. Dex save first before that.
Right.
And then the damage.
Well, Rainier got a 13.
Seriously?
Alright, so he's going to take half that, so 12.
And Golor got a 16.
Awesome. You can't try to kill me.
Well, they're both going to take 12.
This time he got a 13, which is not enough. But he's definitely singed, Rainier is. It's George's turn.
George is going to look puny after that. And miss.
That's a miss.
And then not natural.
All right, that hits.
Going to Divine Smite at 3rd level again. I'm going to use another point.
So it works this time. So he gets the 1
Yeah.
reduction.
Alright, so that's going to be 10 points of the regular damage plus another 23 points of divine.
Okay. And in Golor's now like kind of diminished state, he's like, no. It takes this damage and just like it hurts him more than it ever has before. And this acid just kind of erupts from the masher and kind of cascades across the leathery skin of the creature before you.
I'm really glad you said that.
So now his AC is dropped by 1.
Rainier dropped his first dagger, but then he comes in with the second at Melannor. Actually, wait, no, I'm sorry. Golor is going to do a legendary action. Golor is going to use Psychic Drain on a creature charmed by the Aboleth. It takes 66 psychic damage, and the Aboleth regains hit points equal to the damage taken.
He's going to kill Rainier.
Dang, that's a heck of a trade-off there.
So Rainier takes
It's a
21
legendary
damage.
action.
Rainier goes unconscious, down to the ground, as the Aboleth heals. You see some of the damage that was done by the acid kind of close back up and become silvery, like eel-like flesh in here. All right, now it's the Aboleth's actual turn,
Okay.
and he is going to, in a fit of rage, do all 3 attacks against George.
Bring it on.
Natural 1 for the first strike.
Yeah, that's it.
Now that is a 19 plus 10, so that's going to be a 29 to hit.
It is.
Boulder will deflect attack.
Okay, what does that do exactly?
Vendor imposes disadvantage on attack rolls of one creature it can see within 5 feet of it, provided that the attack roll is against a creature other than the defender.
You rolled another 19, so we did the same roll again.
Wow.
So you'll take 12 bludgeoning damage halved. And then coming in with another one. That's a 12 plus 10, so 22 to hit.
That hits.
And that does 11 bludgeoning damage half.
All right.
Okay, Draken, you're back. You're like, oh, you're staffless.
I am going to use my Wanda Lightning Bolt to shoot a level 8 Lightning Bolt at this insane, worst thing ever.
You don't like him anymore? I thought you were friends with him for a second there.
46 damage to that evil avalanche.
Well, it does a dex save, right?
Oh, yeah.
Got a 6?
Yep, 46 damage to that evil avalanche.
Alright, suddenly the smell of fried fish fills the cavern as this lightning bolt coming from this character who was not there a moment ago for several rounds.
And then I'm going to shoot a lightning fireball at it. Let's see. 23. 22. Is it dead?
He's not dead.
Ah!
It didn't even hurt.
Another lightning attack with this firebolt that converts into this lightning damage, strikes and cascades across the avalanche. It's like, no, we had a deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
Really?
Let's see, Noob Loop's gone, so Wendune, your turn.
I'm going to move up to here, and I am going to try to shoot it with a phasing poke. 15 to hit.
That misses.
I'm going to try again. Natural 20
That hits.
for 30. Yeah, okay. The damage is 9.
So you double that, so it's going to be 18 damage.
Okay.
As you strike true with the second strike, and it hits right in one of the 3 eyes. One of these eyes that these two have tried so hard to find in their first campaign. Goes right through it. He's not feeling good. He's bloody for sure.
I throw the lightning.
With a bonus action, I will get Boulder to Force Empowered Rend
All right.
with Claw Attack, which is +6 to hit, so D20 +6,
Yep.
which comes out to be 23
23 hits.
for 7, and I'm going to add a Arcane Jolt into that.
Okay.
So 18 with his attack.
And with that, with the Force Empowered Rend from the dog coming through, this giant Epilath, Golor, this creature that Draken and George have a long history with. The eyes, one of them explodes from the arrow going right through it, and then this Force Empowered Rend comes through and takes out the other 2. And both all 3 eyes being exploded and like fish eyes squashed between a vice, it sinks down into the water.
Wow.
The mucus cloud that was surrounding it starts to dissipate.
I grab his tentacle, pull it back up.
Strength check.
With advantage. I'll still rage. Gonna be a 15 or 15.
All right, you managed to grab a hold and you're going to start dragging it, I assume, to this island to dissect.
Yep. Yep.
All right, we'll say you managed to do that. Oh Lord,
I was going to die for that one.
That was a heck of a battle. That took a long time.
I thought he finally killed us all.
Yeah. Joey's over here like, I was in the abyss for 4 rounds.
Okay.
And with that, force-empowered Rend from Boulder managed to destroy the aboleth. And the poison in the water is still there, but you're confident that you've destroyed the source of that poison.
It's going to start dissipating.
It will essentially clear out eventually. More than likely, the running water of the river will eventually kind of clear out the river. This pool, this large lake, is more kind of still water, so it might take a bit longer for it to eventually clear out. All right. So George, with your rage, you pull down, you grab that tentacle and you start dragging it to the shore, this aboleth. And I need you to do a perception check.
14.
All right. Yeah, you're busy pulling this thing toward the shore. You don't really notice anything else. The homunculus kind of flies around as well. Okay. So you have access to Golor as a corpse. All right, an Arcana check is required to harvest from an aberration like this.
I'll do it. I want to destroy this thing and chop it up into 5 bits.
I am also going to attempt to help.
So with the relatively low rolls, the aboleth eyes are destroyed completely. So I'm going to say, if you wanted to spend 2 hours or so,
Sure.
you'd be able to take the aboleth hide off this creature.
Okay.
And this hide could potentially be crafted into a cloak of some kind.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
While they're doing the hide thing, I'm going to spend 2 hours working on that sword.
Okay. Rainier is unconscious.
But you said he'll come back, right?
It takes 24 hours, but yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, I'll heal him up.
I have to say, I can give him something.
Yeah, I got it. I'll do a cure wounds one.
I was going to walk over there and do spare the dying on him, and then I was like, oh, wait, he's already dead.
So he comes back at 5.
Okay. So he heals with 5. And he kind of wakes up a bit and, I was hoping I would be able to be done with maybe that. I thought there might be a bright side of this undead thing a little bit. Guess not. So he is back to the land of the unliving, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So you spend some time on that sword, you said. So Wendune, why don't you do let's see what this be. This would be, let's do a d20 plus your proficiency bonus plus your dexterity bonus.
There's a d20 plus 5. 17.
17. All right. So yeah, you use your ability to produce a tool of any kind you need, and throughout this course of this time, you start working on this hook horror claw, and you start to shape it into something. It's going to take some time, but you started the process, and you got a good start too. You feel confident that this is going to go well so far.
Is this stone thing that this thing's sitting on fine stone?
Sure.
Yay!
And there are these, now that you have time to look at it, there are several trinkets and like gold coins and things like that kind of sprinkled around the statue of where this this shrine has been built previously.
Well, what can we get out of that?
Well,
All right, if you take the time while Draken's skinning this aboleth, skinning up Golor, you manage to accumulate 3,300 copper, 670 silver, and 350 gold. You also find an unusual amulet, seemingly made of wood and iron. And you're not sure the origin.
Can anybody cast Identify?
I get.
It is an amulet that controls a shield guardian.
What's a shield guardian?
It's like this large magical construct that looks like a knight in shining armor, usually.
Like the thing that kept looking for that wizard's book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you guys encountered a shield guardian back on level 1.
Yeah.
And level 3.
And level 3, you
Yeah,
encountered it again.
Day 3.
So this is a control for a shield guardian, yes. It's actually kind of funny, you found now 2 items that control different creatures, if you happen to know where those creatures are.
Alright. And I'm going to break off a big chunk of this fine stone.
How
If I can start working back on my familiar.
And before we go anywhere, I need to go and talk to this apothecary alchemist dude.
I'm thinking we need to go to town.
Yeah, I want to go to Skullport.
Actually, you
Definitely need to go talk to this alchemist apothecary fella on this level.
I'm at Waterdeep, but
Wendune and Draken aren't that excited about Waterdeep.
No.
they got outvoted. I'm wondering if we can get back to Skullport, we can't find someone to resurrect Rainier.